Let us begin again this webinar. So my introduction, my name is Jasim Sheikh, and as you can see that I'm not a blonde, but I'm still representing Jönköping University. I work here. I originally come from Pakistan, but I had been a student in this country for 10 years ago, and for the last 10 years I've been working with Jönköping University, representing them as international marketer throughout different parts of the world. And on my right side is our student Alice, who can give her introduction.
So my name is Alice Svensson, a really typical Swedish name, and I'm from Sweden and I study my bachelor's here, and I'm in my last year.
And on my left side is Alice. He has Lucas, and he has a very exciting background. Your mother is from.
My mother is Brazilian and my dad is Italian. I have a mixed origin, but I'm originally from Brazil, and I've been studying my master's degree here in Jönköping.
Wonderful. So the format of this webinar is we will be going through our presentation, which right now we will be sharing our screen. And during the presentation, I will also, we'll ask some questions to Alice and Lucas and try to give some, student perspective opinions on those particular points. So hopefully we are really hopeful that you like the setup of this webinar. And in the end, we will also have Q&A session where you could, write down your questions, and we'll try as much as possible to give answers to those questions. So let's begin by sharing our screen. And now let's start the presentation once again. So as you can see on the very first slide, it says where global careers are born. And this is rather a very strong statement to make. And we are very proud as a university to back up this statement. And during our presentation, you'll see what we actually mean by this. We'll give you a lot of exciting examples, which will rather prove our point quite strongly, and hopefully inspire you guys to seek more information about us and perhaps come study with us. So first, we will be talking about Sweden as a country, which is the source where I think all energy comes from. Why Sweden? Because if you know about the country, because first, you're not choosing a university, you're choosing a country for your education. So it is rather quite important for you guys to understand Sweden as a country, and how the culture and different dynamics in this country work for you to perhaps make your decision, for your education. And then we will be speaking about some exciting points. Why should you choose Sweden as your study destination? Also, why should you choose Jönköping University specifically Jönköping University? So let's begin by talking about Sweden as a country. We will start talking about its geography. I don't know if you know about this or not, but Sweden is a country which is, it's called, if you know, the Scandinavian region. So Sweden is one of the countries in Scandinavia. It's also the third largest country in Western Europe. It has it is a fairly long country. It has a very strong economy. The GDP of this country is 57,000 US dollars per capita basis. So which is amongst I think the second highest in the world. So these figures also perhaps give you an indication that the economy and the work in this country is so strong that each individual gets a very very solid backing by the industries and by finding work, by businesses. So we will also talk about these things later on. So beginning with the economy of the country, if you look at Sweden back in 1800, it used to be one of the poorest countries in the world. But in 50 years of time, it became from a poorest country to one of the richest economies. And economic revolution is also called economic miracle. And this happened with heavy industrialization and also with the connectivity of its natural resources through the railway systems. So that gave a rapid boost to its economy, and just in 50 years of time, no wonder it became one of the leading economies in the world. And now, these days, its economy is quite diversified. It has economy based on its IT, its biotech, its nanotech, its environmental technology. So there are a lot of different kind of upcoming knowledge-based economies, which is helping Sweden to further diversify its economy and put a landmark amongst in the world in still being one of the leading economies. As you can see on the screen, that we have quite exciting, you will see quite a number of brand names perhaps you might have seen in your country, like H&M for instance, Spotify for instance, I don't know, IKEA. So Volvo. These are all very strong Swedish brands, and they are a pride for the nation, and they are also the innovators in their own respective industries. Sustainability. This is rather a very interesting point actually, because I can actually share my story around it. When I came as a student to this country, and I remember I was living in a dormitory, and I was eating my stuff, and I was about to throw some usables, which were tin and some glass and some eatables. And I remember back in 2006, I threw all of those things together, and there was a girl in my dormitory. She was also sitting in the kitchen, and she came over to me. She said, "Justin, what are you doing?" I asked her, "What do you mean?" She said, "You are not supposed to throw things like this." I said, "Okay, but how am I supposed to throw these things?" Then she said, "We need to throw eatables in this basket, metal in this, glass in this." So the reason of telling you this story is that in a dormitory, no one cares and what happens and what doesn't happen. And yet she cared about her country, and she was so responsible for being sustainable and caring about the society, that I learned enormous, it was a great knowledge for me, and great beginning, I would rather say. So that is something which has embedded in my head ever since. And this country has great things to offer when it comes to sustainability. Perhaps you guys could share something around, have you guys experienced something which would make you believe that really sustainability is a very strong focus?
I think it's very interesting how taxes here work related to sustainability. So depending on how much your car is polluting, you pay more or less taxes. And I think that's different from many other countries, especially in Latin America. And we can see how the mentality is all about being sustainable and caring about the place where you live.
For me, since I just came back from Mexico, I was quite shocked with the different sustainability things there. And here we have something called pumps. where all the bottles that we use, you pay a crown extra, which is 10 cents in euros. So you pay that extra on the price and you get it back if you recycle it. That's maybe a sustainable thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, I think our university is in the very forefront of making sure that we are sustainable in our different methodologies, like what we are buying, how we are composing things, how we are throwing things. So sustainability is a very strong aspect in each individual's life, not just corporations, but each individual's life. Good. Let's start. Let's also talk about innovation. This is one of the most exciting things which really inspired me to come down to Sweden. And I'm really hopeful that it should inspire you guys as well. What inspired me was a thinking that, if you look at stats around the world, you will see that Sweden is ranked in leading countries when it comes to producing innovation. And it has been like this for the last maybe many years. And it's always on top 3 or top 4 countries in the world doing that. And how is that possible, theoretically speaking? So I thought about it, that if a country is so persistent with ranked one of the top ranking countries in innovation, so obviously they are doing something right, and that is innovation can only happen if you do reverse engineering. Innovation can only happen through research, and research can only happen through a solid foundation of education. And that solid foundation of education at university level can only happen if you have a very strong foundation at the school level. So every block is somehow connected to each other for it to produce innovation. And I always give my comments in different countries around the world that if a country wants to have a focus to become innovative, then they need to be really good at different parts all across. So some exciting innovations which Sweden has produced, and I'm pretty sure you might have come across or you might have used in your life, like dynamite. I'm sure you haven't used it, but it's usually used to construct, for construction purposes. Ultrasound when women are pregnant. So this device is used to check the health of the fetus. So then we have dialysis machine, the zipper, the ball bearing, Tetra Pak. I mean, you name it. I mean, there are so many other exciting innovations which this country has produced, and I'm pretty sure that you, as an individual, it might be news for you. Some of the things which are written here. Equality. I think this is also quite important, and especially for women coming down to study here, because I know that in many countries around the world, there is still a challenge of being equality between men and women. And I, for instance, have seen that Sweden, by far, is one of the most equal-based countries where both the genders are given equal respect and perhaps equal distribution of work within different organizations. You might want to say something else.
Yeah, well, I think Sweden is it's a very progressive country right now. It's just trying to be more equal, and it's quite good to see that more companies are adapting to the mindset of actually having women in companies and in boards is beneficial for them. And I actually see this when you look at companies for the last 5 years, maybe.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
The Nobel Prize, of course, I'm pretty sure everyone, even a kid, knows about it. And that's Nobel Prize is a house coming in from Sweden, so it's a prestige. So let's talk. Let's begin talking about the university. And by the way, the picture you see on your screen on this slide is a real picture. And the white building, the round one nearby the lake, it's actually that's a school that's a business school. And just beside it, the yellow building is the engineering school. And if you look at from aerial point of view, so you'll see that it looks like a key. So the design was it was made to depict key to knowledge, and so this is quite exciting, and it looks quite. It's a beautiful city. It has a lot of it is surrounded by lakes. It has a lot of different exciting activities. On the right side is the new part of the city. On the left is the old part of the city. And so the university is very centrally located. So if you come down to Jönköping, it wouldn't be hard for you to come to university from train station or even from the airport. So what we have four different schools. We have a business school, we have School of Engineering, we have School of Education and Communication, we have School of Health and Welfare, which is all of these schools are represented by 11,000 students, of which 2,000 are international students. So it's we are quite proud with that, and I think we are one of the leading universities when it comes to international mobilization of students. So that's also quite exciting thing for you people to know about. Um, so yeah, let's talk about its rankings and accreditations. Um, we have I mean it's fairly a big slide actually, but it's quite important one as well, I think. If you look at the left side of the slide, it gives some kind of rankings. For instance, it's ranked number one in Europe and number three globally in family business research. We are ranked number three in Europe and nine globally in entrepreneurship research. And on the right side, you can see a picture which is basically taken out from a case study happening at Harvard University. And that's a case study around family business case study, and many leading schools around the world participate in that event. And they get a problem and they have to solve that problem. And for the last 2 years, we have been winning the competition amongst the likes of Harvard, SAD, University of Oxford, Singapore Management University. So we must be teaching something very solid and something very strong to enable our students to go and compete with the likes of these schools. So we are quite proud with that. So quality is very strongly focused, and we intend to keep it that way. And coming back on the left side of the slide, on the bottom side, you see a School of Engineering, for instance, is also represented by another, it's like a stamp which is called CDIO initiative. It's a collaborative between engineering schools worldwide, which was started at MIT. So that's also a prestige which we are quite, we are quite happy, and we really believe in that. Practical work experience. I think I would let Alice and Lucas say something around it, because what kind of work experience do you what kind of experience do you get during your education?
So in the master's course I'm taking, one of the courses in the program is applied international marketing, and our final paper for our final research is actually conducted with a company here in Sweden. So you're really in touch with the market, and you can see how how things really work here, the cultural differences, and how you can reflect that in your projects. So it's nice to see how sometimes you can be close to companies and to the work in the country itself.
Yeah, and we also have Science Park, which helps students. It's like an incubation center or technology park. I know that because this kind of entity has different names in different countries. But the purpose of this science park is to help students to, be entrepreneurial, and if they have entrepreneurial ideas, how to grow their ideas, what kind of market those ideas can have, what kind of legalities is required to enable those ideas. So all of this help comes for free from this science park, and 1 in every 10 students at our university is actually starting up their own business. So that's also a very exciting stat. Yeah, this is something which I, again, around talking about quality and stuff. This is a World Solar Challenge, which is which we one team from our engineering school has produced their own solar panel driven car by themselves. And this year, last year they went to compete in Australia, and I think that was a race for about 3,000 kilometers, and we were I think we came number sixth or number seventh. I'm not so sure, but something like that. So what I'm trying to say is that we have a very fair these practical things happening at the university for students to learn and also go and compete and be proud of. Here are some of the pictures from the event, and as you can see from equality, we also have women drivers. That is good to notice.
There's also a woman who is the manager of this team.
Exactly, yeah. And she's also the manager. So we and also, if you can see, we have some field visits. Students actually get the opportunity of visiting real companies, not just learning through the books, but also seeing in practice and perhaps do some kind of thesis and these kind of things along with these companies. Global career. And as the title of the presentation was very well focused towards this, here you would see a lot of exciting names like Google, IKEA, H&M, PricewaterhouseCoopers, IBM, P&G, Porsche, Volvo, Unilever, Novartis. So all of these companies are more or less, well-renowned, and I think almost all of us would perhaps know about these companies. And this is where our alumni are right now working. These are not just the companies, but I just wanted to stress on a point that, our education is strong enough for them to enable to work with the likes of these very strong, multinational corporations. And on top right-hand side, you can see a picture, which is in the picture is Ralph Lauren, the brand Polo Ralph Lauren, which you wear, is one of the most exciting and also very expensive brand. So he stepped down as the CEO of the firm, and they chose a new CEO who actually comes from our university. So he's the alumni of our university. So we are also very proud to mention this. It's a very safe and modern country. This, by the way, is a real picture taken from ICE Hotel. I don't know if you know about ICE Hotel. This is also quite special about Sweden. This is, the whole hotel is made of ice, even the bed, even the glasses, even the floor, everything. And it's a great experience to being there. So it's a very safe and modern country. The city of Jönköping, where the university is. This picture, by the way, is also taken from the arena where the ice hockey is happening, and there is a team by the name HV71, which is one of the leading teams in Sweden and has put a mark around the world for its competitiveness. And Jönköping is the home for that team. And this is arena, which is the picture is taken from a live match happening there. It's the environment is just breathtaking and beautiful. This picture, by the way, is taken from a real event. What do you call this? Color run.
Yeah,
Yes,
color run.
exactly. And this is students basically run and throw colors on each other. It's like a fun run kind of a thing, and there are a lot of activities that happen that day. So city I mean, if we talk about the features of the city, it's on the southern shores of Lake Methven, which is the second largest lake in the country. As a city, it has 130,000 inhabitants, 11,000 of which are students. We spoke about it earlier. DreamHack, I don't know if you have heard about it. It's the largest LAN party where people all over the world come and connect their computers and play games together on network. Then by CNN, it's rated as 10 most healthiest cities in the world, which is quite exciting as well. International environment. We have, in our campus, I think we are being represented by, I think, 80 different nationalities. So that is quite phenomenal. And also, as a university, we have more than 350 partner universities all over the world. So which means our students can actually go and mobilize to different exchange partners we have during the time of their education, and that gives them another exciting dimension of experience and making more friends. Yeah, I think we have spoken about some of these points. Let's go to next slide. English is spoken by all. As you can see, all of them are equipped enough to speak English. And perhaps you'll find us somewhere there as well, hopefully, or you guys. Bachelors, we have. I can go into details of every single bachelor's we have, but I think it's better if you visit our website and try to learn what kind of bachelors are we offering. So if you can see, we are offering from business school and from the engineering school. And then also from the health school. If you have some exciting questions or some important questions around that, do visit the website, try to read about the requirements for these programs we have, and ask us questions or drop us emails, and we would be happy to respond with answers. Master's education, we have heavily focused business master's education, and also we have engineering master's education. We have master's education at at the learning and communication school, at the health school, at the engineering school, and the business school. You can also find all of this information on our website, which should be pretty easy. If you have any questions, specific questions around what you want to study, please do read about the requirements written on the website about each program for you to enable to perhaps make an application. We also have, by the way, we require 6.5 IELTS, which is minimum to perhaps offer you admission at our university. But if you don't have 6.5, you can still come with minimum of 5, but then you study English for 1 year. For example, we have different pathway programs. We have pathway year, we have pathway semester, we have pathway summer, we have business pathway, we have engineering pathway. So it depends after looking at your documents, what kind of pathway education would be most suitable for you to streamline your requirements equivalent to what the schools require. Yeah, so we were speaking about the requirements. You can read about this on our website, but if you see on this slide, I'll take maybe perhaps a few seconds so you can just read through them. It's just the usual as it is required almost all over. You need to have your transcripts, high school diploma, letter of motivation. You need English, and the I think the most important thing here to notice is about the deadline. So we are open between October 15th to May 1st, 2017. So it's a pretty long period. And this is our local admission, which means that you have to,
2018 actually.
so 2018, which means that you have to, yeah, you have to come to our, you have to come to our website to apply. So that is quite good. Again, we can also speak about master requirements, but I think it's better if you read through them. We need to have specific requirements, as I was speaking earlier, because sometimes we need to see country-based requirements as well. So please go visit our website, read about the requirements written there, and if you're not clear, ask us questions. We will try to help, to make an application for Jönköping University. If there are any Europeans who are attending this live webinar, for you guys it's entirely free, but for international students, they have to pay for education. You can also find this fee written on our website. And the exciting thing is that we have 30% scholarship for bachelor and master fee-paying students. And that scholarship is given based on your academic credentials and also your motivation letter and your recommendation letter. So all of the combination of all of this three would perhaps enable perhaps make you a candidate for 30% scholarship, but you need to apply for it. Cost of living is between 700 to 800 euros per month. Yeah, we will also talk about this in our Q&A session later on, so don't worry about it. At your service, we are, by the way, Jönköping University is quite service-oriented university. We provide guaranteed accommodation. We have a free pickup service. We have introduction week. We have different student activities. We have free health. We have largest exchange network. We have Swedish courses to offer. And also, you are allowed to work in the country during your education and also find work after your education. So that is all, part of your journey here to Sweden. Yeah, these are some of the links to some of our videos by our inspiring and thriving students. I would ask you to be on our YouTube channel, Jönköping University YouTube channel, where you'll find all of these videos and even more exciting ones over there. Who doesn't know about this guy, right? Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who says, "Dream big and make it happen." And the quote he's making is, "I do not need a trophy to tell myself that I am the best." Of course, Zlatan. Yeah, good. So hopefully see you in Jönköping, and I will leave the floor for question and answers. try to write down your questions, and hopefully we will try to give answers. So let us go, live back again by not sharing the screen so that you can see us as well. So how do we?
You just stop sharing up there.
Yeah, good.
Okay, and I actually have some of the questions here already.
Okay, good.
So like the first one we had, let's see here. How long the live would last? We said about 45 minutes. Then student jobs, student jobs for students. So I think as it was already said, most of the international students can work here in Sweden. And there are several opportunities. We even have a career center that can help you with your CV, cover letters, help you to prepare for interviews. And there are several services and several options to work here. And I think you can talk about that one.
Yeah, it's my experience is that since during our presentation, when I spoke about economy being a very strong economy-based country, so that gives a very strong opportunity for international students to find work because there is a lot of work. But one very important thing to understand is that sometimes learning the local language is very, very important. And if you do that during your education, then perhaps finding work becomes much, much, much easier. And almost, I can say, almost it's quite easy to get it.
Okay, we also have E Ping, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, from China, asking if we have any advices for his interview. He's doing his tomorrow morning.
Yeah, just be yourself. Don't get worried about it. The interview is not about getting to know your technical knowledge. It's more about getting to know you as a person and try to get yourself with your English level skills. These kind of. So it's like think of it as discussion you're going to have with some friend, and you'll just talk around your life, your likings, and your dreams, stuff like that.
Have your goals clear and
Exactly.
We also have Madlina here asking how's the student life in Sweden. I think it changes a lot according to the city where you are, but we can talk about Jönköping itself. As we said, 10% of the population here is basically like consisted of students, and it's very lively. We have a club just for students here that happens every Wednesday night. We have several activities organized by the student union, which take place every weekend, basically every several times a month. What else, Alice, do we have here?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities as well. I think for especially the business students who are running clubs, which is quite interesting. The clubs are actually willing to work with students. So I have several friends who are running clubs.
And really depending where you are living, like your student accommodation here, you also get to know a lot of people. So there's always something to do as long as you're interested and open to know people. That was one of our most asked questions as well. People asked us about a week in Jönköping, how it looks like, and I think we can also go through it.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay.
Talk about it.
Alice, you go first.
Yeah, well, should I go through my week maybe?
Yeah.
All right. So Monday, basically studying. We have a lot of group works in the school, especially at JIPS, which I think is beneficial because you learn how to work with different kinds of people. It's very learning experience, but it's good. And then on Tuesday, we had a really big event called Next Step, which is a career fair for the JIPS students. So if you're interested in business, but I think there's also students from other schools who went there as well.
Yeah.
There's opportunities for everyone, which was really good. So you can get in contact with companies if you're looking for jobs like I am now, or if you're looking for summer jobs, including for international students. I think a lot of people have gotten jobs from that. And then Wednesday, well, I don't even remember what I did yesterday. It's not bad. I think I worked on my thesis for quite a long time, and I had a seminar. Yeah.
And also, I think during the afternoons, We have USA arranging different kind of games at
Yeah.
campus arena. So if you're into sports, we have different sports activities happening every day, like badminton, basketball, floorball, um, hockey, floor hockey. What do you call that? Inner bonding.
Inabambe.
Inner
Yeah.
bonding.
Yeah, it's a
Exactly.
really big sport here.
And much other. And as a university, we have a club. We also have a rowing club, um, which enables you to row if you're interested in that. It's a very challenging sport, but and it's quite expensive to actually do it. But you as a student of JU, you don't have to pay as much, and there are a lot of resources already available for you to enjoy this sports. And you can actually do that in our lake, which you might have seen in the pictures, that the city is surrounded by lakes, so you can basically row all around. So that's also very exciting.
Maybe we could also say that we have a gym on campus.
Yeah, gym on campus,
Yeah, with lake views.
and a lot of exciting different kind of cafes. So there's a lot of student life happening. There's a lot of culture. You'll find a lot of exciting people from different cultures. Um, many things happening.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Good.
let's see what else we have here.
It's a good that you're doing this.
What about the weather in Sweden? Yeah, so that's
That's also
that's very we can explain
Yeah.
for us like how cold it is here.
It's, I think, I don't know, so I just got back in January, but since then it's been quite a snowy winter, I think.
Yeah, it's been
It's,
snowing a lot.
I don't think it usually snows this much.
no, but it's not as harsh as people would expect because we are quite
We are
down in
alive.
south, so we are not up in the north. So that
Yeah.
that's quite normal weather, I would say, because for instance, I come from Pakistan, and there is weather is where I live is harsh in summers. So I usually say that if I can come to this country and survive, anyone can do it. So I've learned I love winters, and I think there are a lot of exciting activities happening.
Like from our windows here.
Yeah, true. And people are asking also about how long should they wait for the results of the application? I have two questions about it.
So if application online, perhaps 3 weeks of time, you should be able to hear an answer.
Okay. We also have a question: if is it a problem the refugees here in Sweden? I think that's important to say that people really treat everyone equally in Sweden. So like even if you're not from here, you're treated equally as everyone. Honestly, I live in Roseland, which is one of the student accommodations, and we have some refugees living close by, but we've never had trouble. Like I think it's important to say that people from everywhere can live here and peacefully and in a peaceful way.
I think especially in Jönköping, like it's not, yeah, it's a very equal city.
And also, I think
Jönköping.
Sweden as a country is supported to refugees.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's one of the countries which has taken the most number of refugees.
Or at least according to size percentage of.
Let's see what else we have. Well, before the webinar, we also had some questions by email. So we had about the costs of living here, and we were discussing it before the webinar as well. There are several costs involved. It all depends on the way you live, the way you spend it. But accommodation should be about 300-400 euros per month, which is like 3,000-4,000 crowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have like your own expenses with food, but 50-60 euros for a week should be enough to provide you food if you eat home and you learn how to cook a lot by yourself when you're living abroad. Then we have costs with transportation, but that should sum around 700-800 euros per month.
Yeah. So this is I think this is quite. When I tell people about this cost, they say, "Oh wow, we were expecting much higher," because the general perception about Sweden is that it's the most very expensive country. But trust me, the student life is quite affordable. and you also learn where to buy and different kind of things. So you could be quite economical if you want to.
I think it's all about the kind of like what quality you want. If
Yeah.
you're going to eat out every day, it's of course going to be a lot more. But can you say economical? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're economical with your money and you bring lunch boxes to school, which is quite interesting, like everyone brings a little box and you heat it up in the microwave that we have, and you
And
bike
also,
everywhere.
yeah,
or-
bike everywhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
I bike everywhere.
The students have, I mean, if you come to the campus, you will see sometimes it's hard to walk because there are bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
So almost every student has a bike, and once you come down here, this is almost like expected from you that you should also have a bike.
And Mohammed is asking us to tell him about the semester examination.
The
The
semester
semester
one?
examination.
Examinations.
Yeah.
All right. So I think it depends on which school you're at.
Yeah, and he also changed according
Yeah,
to
and
the
there's
course.
two courses, but I think in general, at least at CHIPS, you have exam periods twice a semester, so 4 times a year. So you have 2 courses approximately per quarter, and then you have exams, and then you start the new courses. So
Yeah.
it's not like you have one big final at the end of a semester
Yeah,
with a lot of
this
courses.
this is a very interesting point actually because if you're coming through cultures where you have American system where you're studying, so
Yeah.
basically in American systems you're studying a semester which is embedded with 4 to 6 courses, right? And then you have to give exams for those 6 courses or 5 courses or whatever at the end of the semester. Whereas in Sweden, you're studying only 4 courses during one semester, and that too is divided in 2 learning periods. So in first learning period, you're only studying 2 courses, and which usually remains for 2 months, and then the next 2 months you're studying the other 2 courses. So that is a smart teaching because that keeps you on your toes as well and not putting a lot of pressure. So it's quite it's a balance which you can keep between your life having some fun and also studying.
I think it's also like that you can focus quite a lot. Like
Yeah.
as I said on my exchange period, I just had 6 courses at a time, which was so different for me. Was used to having two. I think it's better to be quite focused. I think you can focus more on the subjects and receive more information and actually learn more than.
And
if
it's
you would
also
have a
important to
lot.
say that your final grade usually is not only the examination. You have
Yeah.
group projects that are like very common here in Sweden. You learn how to work with people. You have sometimes individual assignments as well. So it's not only about the exam you have in the end that's going to say if you're passing or not.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have here. How's it like living in Roseland? How do you guys travel to campus from there? Well, it's only like 12-15 minutes by bus, and we have buses every 10 minutes here. So it isn't really hard to get from Roseland to school,
And you can bike.
and you can also bike. But it's not only.
Does anyone bike from Rostock?
Yeah.
Yeah, people
people
really
do.
bike from
Yeah,
Roseland. Yeah, and it's not.
It takes, I think,
only
20
student
20
accommodation as
minutes
well.
or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
How about the food in canteen? Well,
I think there's good
Yeah,
ones.
you have
There's
quite a
different
range
ones,
of
yeah.
every day you have different menu going on. So rest assured you'll be able to if you're into sushi, you'll be able to find sushi. If you're into you will find almost every kind of food.
yeah, but and it's really nice how people really pack their food and they bring their lunch boxes as well. So if you're not very used to the kind of spices, or if it's different from your food from your original country, you can also like bring your own food. Oh, you guys are welcome. Thanks for the questions. Does anyone have anything else? Okay, we also had some other questions from the emails about the transportation. Well, we talked about it. There are some bus cards as well. If you check the, I don't know how to pronounce the name of the company, like the transportation company.
Jönköping University.
Yeah,
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
you,
someone Swedish names to me. It's okay.
you can see
You
that.
get a
Yeah, true. You have some packages. You can have a bus card for each month, so you don't get to spend every time you go inside the bus. And well, that was the questions we had.
What else?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Good. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed this webinar, and I'm thankful for your participation. I hope you leave your contact details. We have a study at ju.se email. You visit our website, tell us about yourself more.
I have three more questions actually.
Okay.
Okay, so does any of you know anything about new media design course? If you could tell me about it. Actually, I forgot this question. She was also asking about how big the group is in this class. Do you have this?
Well, first of all, new media design right now is closed. It's a very popular undergrad program offered by the engineering school. The program is about the marriage between the technical part of the website building and also the design part. So they are bringing those two dimensions together. So I mean, so this demand, I mean, the demand is very high. The class, of course, is not is I'm not sure about exact number, but it is made in a way that it doesn't exceed from the training capacity of a teacher.
Okay, if the canteen is a buffet or not. Well, we have more than
There's a
one option,
buffet.
right? Yeah.
Or yeah,
Is it your
HOK.
communication good?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, this food questions, I mean, we have a lot of cafes around the university, a lot of them. And you know, when you're a student, you have a student card. With that, you get some really good discounts on a lot of cafes.
Yeah.
So you can if you're into pizzas, you can eat pizzas. If you're into burgers, you can eat burgers. If you're into sushi, you can eat sushi. If you're into Thai food, you can eat Thai food, Chinese. Everything is literally available on walking distance. So just chill on that. Come down with your packed luggages, and I can promise you that you'll not have any problem with the food.
Okay, then Matulina is saying that she was accepted for next autumn, so congratulations.
Oh, congratulations.
And Alex is asking us about the bus schedule, if they're available during the night. Well, it actually changes. Now we're having buses on Wednesday until 2:30 a.m. Because of the student party. So as Wednesday is usually the day people go out here, the buses run a little bit more, but it ends during the night from 1 a.m. until 4:30. There are no buses, but you can usually manage.
Yeah.
So it's not like a very big problem.
No.
So the traveling is not a huge problem. So
And remember, it's a small city, guys. It's not
it's
that
easy to
big.
move around.
You can't take yourself around with a
And we have also a question about the exchange. I heard about that most students could get an exchange in the third year. Is it true?
yeah, you can for bachelor's education, yes.
Yes.
For master's education, of course, you're going to get it in your second year, and that could be we have, as I said, we have like more than 350 partner universities, and you have this opportunity of selecting one of them, and you go through, you know, the administrative procedure. But yes, you can actually do that if you want to go to Australia. You can do that. If you want to go visit New Zealand, you can do that. USA, you can do that. UK, you can do anywhere.
There's tons.
Yeah,
There's
there's
like
tons.
Brazil,
Yeah.
you can go to
Brazil,
Brazil,
you can do
you
that.
can go to the States, you can go
Mexico,
to
yeah,
South Africa, you can go to I don't know, India. There's
Yeah.
tons of places.
yeah. Exactly.
And there's Taiwan.
Yeah, I have a friend in Singapore actually, so you can.
Yeah,
move
a
around.
lot of people go to Singapore. Very
And
popular.
quite many of them are top ranked universities in their own countries.
Yeah.
So if you want to become a student in those universities, they are quite expensive. But since you're a student with us, and we have special exchange agreements with them, you don't have to pay to be on exchange with them. And that is a great asset. And sometimes some students even find their thesis with those universities.
Yeah.
So and also Some students also go for internships for 1 semester. And some of the programs already have embedded internships, which is like, you have to do internship for you to pass the course. So the balance between work and education is quite, strongly embedded.
Yeah, we also have like last question here from Pink. Is it true that I need to wait long to see a doctor in Sweden?
No, most importantly, I think you need to know that first of all, as a university student, your health insurance is covered by the university, not just in Sweden, but also within EU. So if you're traveling, if while you're a student here at Jönköping University, the insurance will take care of your health cost. But the best thing is that we also have a nurse sitting at the university campus. So if you're facing any kind of health issues, it's always good to knock that door first, and she can easily guide you that if perhaps you need to see a doctor, or you can just take some precautions.
Okay, yeah, I think that's it. We have two people thanking us, saying that we are awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being with us. I really appreciate your participation, and we hope to do these webinars more often now, where we would have more we will talk more specific about programs and what exciting things are happening within those programs. So stay tuned to our channel and information coming through it. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Bye, guys.
Wherever you are.